Welcome back, everyone, to the Global Speedrun Association, where we've got yet another match in our 70-star league, this time between the consistency king, puncayshun, and the young prodigy, Benji. My name is Electric, and I'm here commenting this race with Scotch and Tie Guy. How are you feeling before this matchup?
Feeling pretty good about this one. We talked about this race beforehand, talking about Benji. He's been on the grind lately with 70-star and really pushing it, trying to get better all the time. And I've been noticing his Twitter. He's been kind of hard on himself, but I think that's going to help him out here in the next couple of months, where he's getting hard on himself. He's wanting to get better. You see the desire for greatness in him. But Punkay, like you said, consistency king. But we have seen Benji take down top people. We saw him take down Cheese twice last season.
Yeah, he has the capability. He is that level player to dethrone one of these guys. It depends on the day, depends on what form of Punkay he's racing, and how he's going to be able to handle the nerves. Because we've heard these top level runners talk before. Like, Punkay has never been more nervous than when he races Cheese, and I feel like the same is going to apply to Benji. Benji knows that he can beat Punkay on a really good day. It's just a matter of having that really good day and having the mentality not get in your way during that.
Well, here we go. We've got the start. Benji working on that Japanese cart, probably a little bit just more comfortable with that.
It may just be that he doesn't own an English cart,
or even
I've seen that with international guys. Like Paracusia, for instance, doesn't even own an English cart. Like, it's somewhat common with those top level runners internationally, where the English cart just isn't as widely available. I mean, in America, you can go to a pawn shop and there's a fair chance that they have one. It might be overpriced, but they'll have it. Whereas in Australia, why would an American cart just be lying around in Australia? Benji, though, getting back to the race, starting off with the really nice Lakitu skip setup. Punkay, though, rocking the long jump setup. Very nice, consistent, but of course, Benji saving just that fraction of a second. I think it's literally frames that the jump dive setup saves over long jump.
Heading straight into Bob now. See these guys head on over. Just gonna do a quick little skip past this chain chop, past the gate. Nice there from Benji. Punkay doing the same.
Looks like Punkay had like a slight medium bomb, but it wasn't a huge deal. Just getting right through just fine. Drogi, this one is a pre-recorded race, recorded slightly before BTR, so that's another factor that I'd like to mention real quick. Benji has still been on the 70-star grind as of late, whereas Punkay has been more so focusing on 120, and especially in anticipation of BTR, he was solely practicing 120, I'm sure, so it'll be interesting seeing how some of the little 70-specific nuances go in this run.
We'll get those guesses out in chat. Got Peach's slide.
12-7, 12-8. There is a 12-7. The first one to finish got a 12-7.
Dual 12-7s.
See, what I meant was both get 12-7 now, and then they both get 12-8 later. Just watch. You'll see.
Into Whomp's Fortress. We're going to be in here for a minute. One of the longer areas. Here
one of two stages that you complete everything in the stage. And it's funny that the second stage and the last stage, you just do everything. And nowhere else in between do you actually bother to get all 7 stars.
Well, with that, going to be doing everything in here. Benji going for cannonless first, doing that longer setup, a little more consistent. We'll see what Punkay goes for. He's going to do the same and overshoots it.
Big leap there.
Wow. Interesting mistake. Not something that you would see from Punkay. You talk about his consistency. That's a pretty straightforward setup. But Punkay just overshooting it completely.
There's not a ton of excuse for that, since obviously this is one of the first stars in 120 as well. Benji with the beautiful backup there. Realized that he wasn't getting the jump he wanted, so an immediate double jump back up. You don't have very many frames between when you land on the ground and when the game will let you double jump. So that what is happening to Punkay?
Wow.
He keeps thinking that he's gonna ledge grab and then just isn't able to account for not.
I mean, he's pushing it a little too far forward. Like, I get like you want to make sure you get the ledge grab, but it's to a certain degree. I mean, it's not that much further. I don't know like what's causing him mentally to push Mario that much further over the ledge to where he's falling off the other side.
Yeah, that's a very weird mistake we don't really ever see from him, or really anyone. Like, I mean, that's something I feel like I would do in a run. Well, we got Benji pulling off a nice Pro Cycle 100 coin here as Punkay goes for his Owlus and gets it just fine.
Yeah, that's a nice little reset there for Punkay, getting that Owlus first try, you know, after making the mistake there twice now with the cannon list. But Benji with a very nice 100 coins there.
Beautiful movement throughout. That turnaround after the circle of coins was really, really clean, and just all of his movement is beautiful here.
Yeah, the nice little, a nice little speed kick there as he was moving over towards the top 5 coins there too.
Now, Punkay, we know often goes for just the standard full cycle rather than pro, and it also seems to be the case here. He's not going to bother with trying to get every coin possible at the start of the cycle. He doesn't want to miss a cycle just from trying to grab a couple extra coins. So, a really smart play by him, honestly. When you're at his type of level, this cycle is just free to you. And so, you know, making that little sacrifice is really valuable for just ensuring you're always going to get a clean 100 coin. So we can see here that beautiful side flip there. Is now Benji going to be going to the top of the fortress now to face off against its king, the King Whomp. Nice fence clip there. That strat is a little finicky.
Interesting movement here from Benji. She's going to kind of go back and forth here.
You can tell he I guess just doesn't feel quite comfortable trying to ground pound through the Whomp. Either he doesn't really want to mess with the precision on that timing, or he just would rather line himself up for the ground pounds from going off the side of the Whomp. But that does incur some risk on its own. You can see Punkay there going for like a sort of hybrid strat almost. He knew he wasn't going to make it far enough to the edge to get past the Whomp's hitbox, so he just ground pounded to make sure he went through it. It's a nice little read of the situation by Punkay. No matter what you decide to do between the phases of the Whomp, there is a pitfall that you have to deal with. And so it just kind of depends on what you as a runner want to deal with, whether it's the accuracy of the ground pound through the Whomp or how far you have to move past the Whomp. Beautiful top of the fortress start for Benji.
Yeah, we want to see Punkay match that up there as Benji leaves. Let's see if Punkay can finish this up nicely, kind of get out of Whomps, get that first star out of his head.
Beautiful stuff.
The slide.
Okay, I'm going to stick with my guesses. 12-8s on both sides.
I'm going to go with dual 12-7s again.
Well, let's see it happen. It's a pretty nice dismount from Benji. Gets the turnaround before 10. Okay. I admit defeat. I need to just take another trip to the flea market and officially complain to that whoever sold me that crystal ball.
Oh, there you go.
I don't even remember at this point. It was some kind of shady character. They were wearing a big cloak and they talked like in riddles or something. It was weird. It was a surreal experience. That's why you don't go to flea markets. It's a lot to take in, a lot of sensory overload.
12-6 there from Punkay.
Beautiful time on the slide there.
A little early on the jump there for the box, but he's able to make it up there. Not too bad.
Now, Benji with some nice flying here. I think really the only thing is he's not quite flattening out between the arcs, but that's fine. That's not losing that much time the way that he's still doing them. His dips and ascends are really, really nice, and those turns are perfect. Now let's see Punkay, of course, no stranger to flying. You see how long he stays flat there. That's a big key in what makes his flying so fast.
Yeah,
you want to exploit as long as you can, having that intense momentum from the descension.
Well, you look at guys like Punkay and Cheese, and oh no, messing up the button.
He knew he wasn't going to be able to roll out, but that was a pretty decent backup. He didn't hit the button. That's the key part.
It looked like he wanted to try and fly the button there for a second. Maybe I'm wrong.
He was definitely going for the button rollout. It just, he was too high, and so he would have just gone right past the button, probably into the star, and that's kind of a problem. You might need the wing cap later. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I think you could do both the stars that require the wing cap, unless I'm forgetting one. You could do them without. It's just, why would you make it so hard on yourself when you're not even saving time?
Right. Wow, and Benji, Dark World.
Very clean. Punkay looks also to be on pace for a good shig. I like the camera angle Punkay uses there. You're able to get a nice angle. Oh, misses the red though. That's shig gone right there. Normal cycle is definitely, yeah, he's going to be doing the pop shig movement here just because at this point the cycle is very weird. I don't know why he jumped back off the platform for that though. He definitely had the time to long jump off the yellow. It must have been something with speed or maybe that was just his reaction. Benji threw the Bowser throw though. An entire Bowser fight ahead and some change, which is not a bad place to be against an opponent like this at the start of the run, but there's still tons to come up. Pillarless fails could easily make up this difference. Lava Boost fail could cut this in half. There's a lot that could happen between now and even the midpoint of the run that could drastically shake this up.
Yeah, we got it's about 35 seconds difference right now, considering the Bowser fight. But like you're saying, there's a lot coming up here. You know, it comes down to, we were talking about earlier, the amount of experience these guys have. Punkay having so much more experience. You know, he can come back from this sort of thing, making the mistake there in Dark World, not picking up the red, making the mistake early in Whomp's Fortress. Benji, not as much experience. Might get into his head a little bit that he's ahead and trying to, you know, keep that lead against a very, very good opponent. Benji right there with a really nice hop there.
And one thing that has to be talked about, like half of this game, then grinding this game is grinding mentality, getting your mentality to be better. And Benji unfortunately starts at a disadvantage just due to his age. That maturity contributes a lot to that mentality. And of course, he's done a ton to improve his mentality. His mentality towards this game is definitely better than mine and many other much more mature runners. But against someone like Punkay, who has been running longer than anyone else in this league, I'm pretty sure, like the mentality just can't be compared when you have both the age difference and the experience gap. It's going to be one thing that will definitely determine the outcome ultimately of this race is how much Benji is able to stay out of his own head and just play.
Well, wall kicks will work there for Benji. I mean, he up to this point, he's been playing in his own head at this point, you know, not being affected at all by what's going on around him. You know, we're not sure if he's watching or not what's going on. Some of these guys watch each other, some of these guys don't.
That's pretty interesting on Benji's side, how he didn't do the kick at the start of that triple, even though he didn't have to deal with the text box on Penguin. You normally see people do a kick at the top of their first jump.
Wall kick's working for Punkay as well. Now, both these guys should be going for the same stuff here in CCM. You see Punkay going for these
117 and Benji as well. So we're going to be seeing double pluses from both. This is actually a little bit of a divergence from Punkay's normal route. He must know that he's behind at this point, and he's going to be trying to account for that because he is definitely consistent at double plus. It's just normally in a race setting where he's not doing pro cycle, you also wouldn't expect him to do that. I don't believe I've ever gotten a firm number on how much double plus saves optimally compared to CCM 18, but it's in the realm of seconds, especially if you're not doing Tama plus on both. But both these players having really nice slides. I mean, the slide is a lot less anxiety inducing in this route. It just, you grab the coins, and if you miss a couple, no big deal. You just do a little bit of movement at the end. Nothing like, did you happen to catch any of that race earlier where both, it was both Blue Bob and Gainai missed a coin on the 100 coin with Penguin race?
Oh, that's just, it's so painful to see that sort of thing.
And especially on both sides.
So
and seeing how they tried to account for it was really interesting because they both had different ideas of how to try to route it. Blue Bob, even though Blue Bob was behind going in, he would have been ahead afterward if he hadn't taken a really bad bonk at the end. Okay, so Mr. Bird Arms, and for anyone else who isn't familiar super with this game, there's a trick in Shifting Sandland known as Pillarless that is arguably the most difficult star in this run. It certainly is the most precise individual trick you have to do because it involves a frame-perfect input to grab a ball. But normally you will see players opt to grab 18 total stars before they leave Cool Mountain and then just do the Pillarless trick once. But both of these runners skipped a star in Cool Mountain. They did 100 coin with just the normal slide rather than racing the Penguin. So in order to account for that lost star, they're going to have to do Pillarless twice. And if they decide not to do that, it'll change a lot of their routing later on. So it's definitely better if they just go ahead and do that trick twice and succeed, of course. But we got both players in BBH now. Benji is still holding on to that 1-star lead pretty tightly. But that may all change in the next stage here. This is where we're going to see a super hard trick that could definitely change this lead considerably. Okay, with that nice side flip wall kick as Benji heads back into the house real quick for the same trick, both on the same star.
Yeah, BBH pretty simple. We're just grabbing 2 stars in here. Nothing too out of the ordinary. Really got to focus on this slide. I think it's so interesting how they're able to know where to slide and how to position Mario, just so even though you're not able to see him on that side of the roof.
Yeah, it's wild trying to learn that because like it feels sometimes at first like the Boo's position is kind of unpredictable, but as you get the initial inputs tighter, like the Boo starts at the same spot. You always ground pound so fast that he gets pushed away to about the same spot. And then your punch is pretty much always timed the same. So it's really a matter a lot of the time of just grinding that long jump and then the quick stick turn counterclockwise in order to make Mario slide down the correct direction. But it takes a lot of grinding to be confident in that blind scenario. And there's nothing worse than when the Boo wakes up from the punch right before you start sliding, and so then he bops you. It's like, really? What?
Well, heading into SSL now, Benji talking about those double pluses. We're going to see him here now. We'll see just how consistent Benji's gotten with these as he attempts his first one.
That's a big bomb and a Tama regrab. Okay. The double jump is good. That first attempt looks clean.
Wow.
Very nicely done.
That was a very good plus there.
Now just do it again, forehead. There's a lot going on within that span of a few seconds. I'll try to give a quick play-by-play, but it's hard. Actually, I'm gonna wait a little bit because both these guys doing it simultaneously, something's gonna happen. So we got them both going for this first grab. This is the frame perfect grab here. You need that to be the big bomb. The nice regrab. Wow. Beautiful attempts side by side there. So a quick rundown of what's happening. When the players throw the bomb at first, as soon as it hits the ground, it starts exploding. But Mario can grab the bomb during the explosion. But the developers didn't really consider that being a possibility. So it just puts the bomb the same distance away from Mario as if it were a literal bomb. But the bomb is bigger when it's exploding. And it happens that in this instance, Mario's hitbox is clipped by the bomb. And the game doesn't want things to be in the same spot at once, so it tries to separate them. By trying to separate the bomb, it does nothing. Mario's holding the bomb. It can't move it, but it can move Mario backwards away from the bomb. And so it just gives Mario a bunch of speed. And that's also how the bomb clip in Bob works. But there's a little additional element here when you see them do that dive on the sand slope. They're actually re-grabbing the bomb there in such a way that the game no longer thinks Mario's holding on to anything. This is called hands-free. And when Mario is in a hands-free state, he still gets that insane speed from the bomb, but there's 2 other effects. One is he can do any move like ground pounding, certain jumps, and other things that wouldn't normally be possible while holding an object. But the other is the bomb timer gets extended a lot. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to get to the pyramid at all. So with the combination of those tricks, you're able to have enough speed and the mobility through your actions, through hands-free, to actually jump your way onto the pyramid and then clip into the top. So I hope that made sense. That's like the 5-second explanation.
You just got a PhD in double pluses. Just got the dissertation. Well, into LLL, Benji taking care of these quick reds as Punkay finishes up SSL, getting to the top of the pyramid. Those reds pretty straightforward and simple. Nothing really too difficult there.
What's really nice about that star is, like, if you mess it up, your mistakes won't cost you more than a couple seconds most of the time.
Well, there's a couple of movement things here that, you know, separate people who are doing this kind of casually, speedrunning it casually, quote unquote, versus the people who are like pros at it. You know, you could do the double long jumps, or you can do the jump dive towards the moving platforms, you know. Oh no, and Benji!
It looks like he had the height, just didn't get on the platform for some reason. Is he... Okay, I think he was trying to retry it, but he's just gonna go up the mountain now.
Yeah, that's kind of a bummer place to have a mistake like that. This is going to cost him quite a bit of time.
Yeah, and this is the type of backup that Punkay would be a lot more effective at due to his 120 experience. You always go up the volcano, and so I'm sure he's mastered that movement really fast. But yeah, both the star counts are similar. Benji's star that he just did is a few seconds longer, but that cuts the lead very significantly. And this is the moment where Benji's mentality is going to become a huge factor.
Mm-hmm.
A runner like Cheese or Punkay has been talked about numerous times. They make mistakes, they vent, and then as soon as the star's over, it's gone. And that is a master's sensei level technique. And we'll have to see how Benji is able to account for that. If he's able to get through these next stars really clean, that could show a nice mental reset. But if not, we could be seeing the start of a little bit of a snowball effect of that mentality starting to kind of get worse.
Well, and you might notice, Benji took that knocked off about 15 seconds, and walking out of Whomp's Fortress, he was probably close to 30 seconds ahead. But Punkay has slowly but surely chipped off a bit of the time that Benji had on Punkay, just purely based on movement. So they're matched up now. They're about, I'd say, 5 seconds apart. So even though Benji lost 15 seconds there, it's 15 seconds that Punkay was getting back slowly but surely over the past past dozen or so stars.
Yeah. Oh, Benji going for the ledge grab skip there. Nice back up there. That could have gone so much worse. Okay. And so, yeah, I believe they have the same stars left here, the same star, rather. Mm-hmm. So this is extremely close. Benji's fire seat is going to be one to watch here because, especially if he knows how close they are, this is an opportunity for him to start just getting right in his head. Well, let's see how Triple Bullies goes. Since he didn't get the ledge grab skip for standard, I highly doubt he's going to go for it here. It just wouldn't really make sense. Yeah. Ledge grab skip makes the Triple Bullies harder anyway, so just one of them not even reacting, just saying, you know what, I'm kind of chill today. I'm good. Now, one thing about that side flip ground pound is if you have to do it in the other direction, it won't work. So you saw Benji actually did a front flip there to make sure that the Bob-omb, or the bully, sorry, would fall off the platform. If you try doing it in the opposite direction, it just won't work. He'll land right on the edge.
We are now neck and neck, and it all came down to mistakes in Lava Land.
It's funny. It came down to the star that isn't in 120 that I honestly thought Punkay might have trouble with. And instead, Benji's the one that had trouble with it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this is what's going to separate Benji and Punkay here. Like we said earlier, is Benji going to be able to just buckle down and, with all the practice that he's put in, be able to prove himself in this situation, or is Punkay going to come out with the experience that he has?
Let's see here coming up. Nice chest movement so far. Looks like Punkay took that a little tighter. This is going to be important here, this fourth chest. This could potentially change the lead a little bit. So Benji, very nice fourth chest from Benji. Punkay actually going to be losing a little time there. You're going to see Benji will be a little closer to the star. So one swim away as compared to Punkay's two. That's like maybe a second or so. And then now the submarine coming on up. I think Benji's probably going to go for front sub. Let's see if it bites him. And while we're waiting on these players to get through the tunnel, a friendly reminder from Stay Hydrated bot to drink more water. No matter how much you're drinking, it's not enough. Water. You'll die without it.
Well, Punkay showing that camera, looks like he's gonna go for the rear sub. Just try to stay consistent. Yeah. Okay. I think it's the right move here in this situation. You don't want to risk it. You've had the mistakes in Whomp's Fortress already, and you're right behind Benji. Punkay is going to be watching this for sure. He knows where the other racer is at. So he's not. I think it's the right move not to risk that and just be consistent.
Yeah, definitely. I can agree with that. Mana Ray coming up for you.
These rings, man.
There's Wait.
Oh no!
Benji missed the first one. Okay, he kind of reserved himself with those rage pauses. This might be okay. Okay, he knew what he was doing there. You kind of saw he had a bit of a side approach to those last couple of rings. That was absolutely intentional. Beyond the first 6 or so rings, the hitboxes are virtually sideways. It's a bug in the game that just exists in every version, I'm pretty sure. I believe even Shindu. And you just have to deal with it. The first 6 are okay, so it normally isn't a factor, but the second you miss one of those first rings, then it becomes a huge issue. So, as we can see, just because of that, Punkay now in the lead. But Punkay is now out of lava boost contention with that fall. But Benji missing the wall kick entirely, and the rage pausing, making it last even longer. Lost a couple of seconds just off that alone. Now, I think Benji might still be able to resurrect an early Ellie's, maybe, because of the nature of that fall, but it's going to be very iffy. Oh, the elevator messing him up there. He would have gotten the triple jump had the elevator not been in his way. It's not going to happen, I don't think, unless he has like pristine movement up here, but I think it's done for. Yeah, no early Ellie's on this one. That's really unfortunate. Man, I believe Punkay was able to get like a decent cycle. That may have still been early Ellie's somehow. Well, yeah, Lava Boost was dead with the fall, but early Ellie's still would have been possible. So I think he's a whole cycle ahead of Benji, and with that 15 more seconds added on.
I mean, 2 kind of tragic fire season. A couple more mistakes here from Benji.
And the rage pausing. It's an unfortunate habit, but it's indicative of what Benji's going through right now. It is an absolutely infuriating mentality where you're just ready to be done.
Well, here's the nice thing is that you get to beat Bowser, and now you get a couple seconds again to reset the clock in your brain. That's kind of going off right now. Alarm bells ringing and everything like that. You just had a pretty bad Lethal Lava Land, a couple big mistakes there. Then you just had a pretty tragic mistake with those Manta rings, and the fire seed just wasn't clicking. But now you're heading upstairs, and things are getting a little bit more real as you head up the castle. So now's the time to kind of reset everything. I mean, Punkay isn't that far ahead. Excuse me. This race isn't anywhere near over yet.
Yep, and Punkay just now going into one of the most RNG heavy stars in the run, Wet Dry World 100. The coin RNG could potentially affect his lead a little bit. If he ends up missing too many coins due to coin sprays, that's a pretty decent time loss from having to take a backup box. So we'll see what happens to him here. It looks like good RNG throughout so far, though. And, of course, he's done this so many times that he's used to just about anything the game could throw at him. Not ending up doing the speed kick there for the triple jump. The positioning was a little awkward. That starts kind of interesting. You can do a speed kick there so that you hit the box with your initial triple jump rather than the wall kick. And then on the wall kick, you collect a number of coins from the spray. So it overall makes the box collection a little faster. Benji played it a little bit fast and loose with these blues, but luckily, since the spider was in the middle of the platform there, it didn't really matter. Punkay with some nice ending movement on 100, though. Now, he did hit this amp here. Benji could save some time if he misses it. Nope, same exact hit. Also, like, you see Benji kind of rubbing against the wall there. It is a very fine line between what will make you hit the wall and what will leave you in the path of the amp. It's very difficult to traverse that pillar.
Yeah, Benji's got to be careful here. He did have, a bonk there.
The bonks on the stairs. Bonking on stairs like that is one of the worst things in the game because you just lose control of Mario for so long. Same as, like, if you're really unfortunate and you end up getting chucked by one of the heave-hos lower down on the stage, almost every time the other one will also chuck you. So you're just staring at the screen for 15 seconds, wondering what in your life led you to this point that you're just in so much agony. But neither of these guys, of course, having to worry about that. Punkay, nice elevator star there. Pristinely executed.
Yeah, really nice Wet Dry World so far from Punkay. Only the one mistake with the amp. Benji making his way up here. Going for this triple jump.
And no side flip. Let's see what his wall kicks look like coming up here. Ooh, nice. He was able to skip the other side wall kick there. So Benji also playing really, really nicely. It's obvious that those mistakes got to him, but he is still playing really, really well despite. I think the more stars in a row that end up going well for him, the better that mentality will recover. So, nice triple. Okay.
Nice
And the synchronized star grab.
Fake synchronized star grab there. Yeah, that's what I mean. That's what I was talking about earlier. You know, Benji doing a really nice job here in Wet Dry World, kind of resetting things. A couple minor mistakes, but nothing really too big at all. Nothing that will throw him off moving upstairs here. Just kind of hitting the reset button, getting it together. Punkay into THI, that hecking island.
Yep. That's the most accurate name for it. This is the only stage that I argue doesn't deserve to be called a fortress. Like, are you kidding me? I mean, it might look kind of like a fortress built into a hill, but it doesn't deserve that title. Okay, Benji missing the long jump on secrets there, having to take a bit of swimming. Was that burn intentional? It halfway looked like he waited for it. I doubt it was. That's definitely slower, but that was weird.
Well, then eating a bit of lag there. Punkay with the weird bonk, though.
Yeah, trying to go for the mountain clip here. And he ended up having to go for it way further left than he was anticipating. So that's a few seconds that Benji could pick up on that star. EBM, get out of here. We don't mention that thing. That abomination, that freak of nature.
Chat trolling.
It's what Twitch chat does best, right? I mean, what? You mean you came here for serious discussion in Twitch chat? Excuse me?
Wow.
Benji, that's some really nice movement there. When you know you're not going to bother with the mountain clip, you can do that triple jump off the slope instead. And it'll actually save you a little bit of time. It brings it a lot closer to the mountain clip time optimally.
Punkay doing some weed whacking. Benji will do some himself. Heading out of THI now into TTM.
And tippy light, as it were. Benji with a very weird long jump angle there. I'm glad it still worked out for him like that.
Yeah, nice quick adjustment there.
Okay. Nice piranhas. Fortunately, they played nicely. I think it's really weird how this patch of ground is like quicksand. I don't really understand why that design choice was made.
Okay.
Now wait.
Breezeless.
Oh!
Not today!
And I quote, puncayshun at some point in time, breezeless is free. See, no matter what the result of his breezeless is, that quote is always relevant.
It's always there, just sitting in the back.
And that was, in case anyone's curious, he was close enough, but he wasn't high enough. The big problem that makes breezeless hard is that you're trying to keep your wall kick really close to the wall so that the fence tries to clip you in, but also gain enough height that the fence will have somewhere to clip you on top of. If it's trying to just clip you out of bounds, it'll be like, no, get out. And so that's what you saw with Punkay's side there, where it looked like he clipped him, but then immediately popped back out.
Got a real fake sink there.
And that's a pretty fast star that they have apart. So this is getting a little bit closer, actually. Let's see the next star here.
Okay, a little bit quicker with the clip there.
Well, Benji actually it looked like a little bit better of a position since he like grazed the bottom body of water. In this game, the way water handles things is weird. It will pop you to the top of the water, then calculate your downwards momentum to figure out how far down it should dive you. So what you optimally want to do on that mountain clip is just barely graze the bottom body of water so that it kills your downward speed, then hit the top body because it'll snap you to the top and then not bring you down at all. And you'll be able to get to the top with like one swim. But it's pretty hard to do that consistently every time. Benji with breezeless, nice. It's 2 seconds saved over Punkay. Actually 4, since Punkay missed it. Benji's making up some decent time here.
Yeah, Benji slowly but surely coming back. It's kind of the reverse situation now. You know, Punkay was crawling his way back, just a little bit faster movement here and there. But Punkay now, the one ahead, where Benji kind of making up a little bit of time.
Let's see Benji's ending to reds here. He already did the speed kick, the triple jump, the side flip wall kick. It's good, nice and clean. A little dust on the end, but it's still fine.
Really negligible to a certain degree. Punkay doing a nice job with those reds as well. So 2 very nice TTM reds. Those are tricky. The polygons through that mid to top section can be really difficult to navigate, even casually. So for these guys to be able to nail that so quickly, really impressive.
Yeah, and the mushroom movement is really tight as well. Like when you're trying to long jump from the first red over to the second red, if you don't long jump off the right part of the mushroom, it can mess the whole later part of the strat up. There's one thing that I think is a little underappreciated about this game is how much your earlier movement in a stage can affect what happens later. Like there's a lot of butterfly effect stuff going on where you might see someone take a bonk that they don't normally take, and you might think, but I thought they did everything about the same. It may have been something way earlier that just changed their position slightly, and that position change kind of carried through the rest of the movement to then end up messing them up later. So like there's a lot of things in this game that can go wrong that you may not see that they went wrong until a little later, and TTM Reds is a great example of it.
Well, 2 very nice Snowman heads, and I mean this gap is really close. It's a star difference, sure, but when it comes down to what stars separate these guys, it's less than 10 seconds now.
Yeah, it's really tight, and moving into Tippy, I mean that's all you can ask for. Oh, Benji having a lot of trouble getting back into the SL painting. One thing I hate about this game is that wall paintings like that, every edge is not painting. So if you somehow like hit right on the edge, it won't let you go through. And that's what you were seeing with Benji there. Like he kept kind of hitting that lip with Mario's feet, and so the painting just was saying, no, not today. I'm a wall today.
Well, it's kind of like Lethal Lava Land, right? Like it looks like you should just be able to walk straight into the painting, but you can't. I mean, you can kind of do the slide thing, but even the slide kind of lifts you a little bit off the ground so that you can get into the painting.
Yeah, or like when you're going to SSL for MIPS, like when you're learning the game, it's kind of common for people to just like try to do a jump dive as soon as they go around the corner. And if you're not careful with it, that jump dive will land you right in the corner and bonk you instead of letting you go in the painting.
No, exactly.
Really infuriating. Speaking of MIPS, Punkay just punching and hoping a star comes out.
Interesting thing here about MIPS, between these 2 versions, we have the version differences, right? English versus Japanese. Benji's going to be have to dealing with a little faster of a MIPS here.
I believe it's actually the MIPS at first on English is slower. I could be wrong on that though. I've always had a tendency to get those confused. It's weird how things can be confused in your brain like that. Like you've heard it so many times you should know them, but for some reason your brain just randomly reverses the information. Versions, Inkspaz, versions. The Japanese and English version. Yeah, that's what I thought, Drogi. Sometimes they get reversed in my brain, and I think both JP MIPS are like the second, or vice versa, basically. Anyway, we're in HMC now. No need to worry about MIPS anymore. The rabbit's long gone. Okay, Benji with his triple box jump coming out now. And it looks good. Yep. Pretty clean. Gonna be diving right into the star really early, too. GGP Jiminy. So this race was pre-recorded, but this is the first time that we're seeing it live. The runners met up at some point and did a race, recorded it, and this is the premiere of the race, effectively. We do this because it can sometimes be hard for runners to meet at the same point in time during the day we want the races to occur. So we do this as kind of a compromise. They're still racing like one race, don't reset, all those same rules. It just, the race itself happened at a different time, but we're all seeing it live together. And of course, us as commentators have no idea what's going on.
We are in the deep part here.
2 stars left on Benji, 1 star for Punkay. It's gonna come down to Tippy, and Punkay, as much as he is the consistency king, Tippy is the one thing that could definitely expose the vulnerabilities in his playstyle.
I mean,
like,
I saw it earlier in comment. Tippy takes no prisoners, and that includes Punkay.
That is absolutely true. I mean, you could ask him how many times he got TikToked when he was going for the 70 record, and he'll be able to tell you right offhand. Like, it just... Tippy is not a forgiving stage. I mean, and it makes sense when you think casually. It's the last hurrah of the game. It's the developer saying, okay, you've gotten this far. You obviously know how Mario moves, so let's throw some new interesting stuff at you.
Well, and I think the really interesting part about Tippy is that it's juxtaposed by the 2 different levels that you've got there. I mean, you've got Winged Mario over the rainbow, but that's kind of the redheaded stepchild of Tippy, really.
We don't talk about that.
We don't talk about that, not in 70 star at least. I mean, TTC is one column, just everything is compact and completely vertical, and there's so many moving parts. Whereas in Rainbow Ride, it's so spaced out. There's so many things going on, but it's all spread out across this vast, space. And basically anything can cause you to fall and die.
I mean, they're really fitting, like, sort of experimental stages. Rainbow Ride is an exercise in minimalistic platforming design, and then TTC is just like, okay, you spent your whole time exploring these horizontally oriented stages. Now try this vertically one. And that does, of course, come with a little bit of limitation of the engine. As we all know, invisuals are very common in TTC due to just the fact that the game wasn't really designed for vertical levels like that. But it also introduces a lot of really unique platforming challenges and a lot of jumps that you don't really see a ton in other stages. But,
well, and for the speedrunning aspect of it all, I mean, it really takes everything that you've done. All the different aspects of speedrunning in this game kind of culminate in these 2 levels, really. Like this jump, this lag 2 bounce that you've got here. I mean, that's just it takes so many elements of different speedrunning tactics that we use throughout the run and just piles them into this one little piece of movement.
Yep. And it's beautiful, but like when you're running, it's nothing short of painful sometimes. Yep.
Oh, nice save!
Beautiful. Oh man, that's why you often don't see people going for left side, because it is much harder to get the ledge grab there, and it doesn't save that much time grand scheme, especially given that if you go on the right side, you get the speed from the slope as you come down. Now, Benji was swinging in the breeze. This is another one that can be difficult due to the precision of this angle that you have to get on this long jump. You don't, I'm not sure exactly how these guys do it, but the way most people will do it, you don't really want an upright angle. You want a little out of upright, but not towards up, really. And so we got Punkay actually using an alternate camera angle here to make sure that his stick is going to be in the right position. And so now we got Benji going on in for his reds as his last star, as Punkay moves on into TikTok clock. This is what we've been talking about. This TTC 100, the star he will most likely start with, is definitely a contender for the hardest star in this run. It's a minute straight of very precise vertical platforming. And Punkay, unfortunately, ends up missing the clock cycle he wanted by getting towed early. So he's just going to go ahead and settle for doing a time moving star real quick. And this triple jump alone, like, he makes it look really easy. If you don't have that 100% consistent and you miss, all of a sudden you're in a world of hurt trying to get up the clock while you're not on a cycle that you're really used to. And like, that's one thing, that one tiny part of that jump that you do wrong. Like if you hold the A button slightly too wrong and one of your jumps takes a little extra time to get down from its max height as normal, that can mean that you won't get time moving.
Well, Benji feeling the pain here in the 100 coins, missing the triple jump kick, having to reset up on those blocks and then getting amped there. So he's going to be losing about 10 seconds in this route.
Yeah, and he took a little bit to get up the yellow blocks, but now he's definitely feeling the movement a lot more. And that's another thing, that wall kick, it's barely within angle. It shouldn't be possible, but it just barely is. But if you don't do the setup right, it isn't anymore. It's just everything about this stage is brutal and unforgiving. Very nice. He did that dive onto the triangle platforms. You don't see that super often. It's really hard. But overall, a pretty decent 100 coin from Benji. Just that little bit of a bobble at the beginning, but he recovered really nicely.
Yeah, a little bit unfortunate on the RNG on that second to last coin block. One coin just deciding, I'm not going to be with the group. I'm going to go astray. So him having to chase that one down.
And one thing, like, for those that may not know how this game really works under the hood, anytime a coin spawns, the RNG function, or the part of the game's code that's responsible for generating random values, whenever we say RNG, that's the part of the code we're talking about. Anytime a coin spawns from a spray, that function gets called 3 times for the X, Y, and Z velocity. So you might get lucky with the first 2 and it has no momentum in the X and Y direction. But then the Z roll just outputs a really high number, and then suddenly the coin goes flying in one direction. And you have to think there's those 3 calls for every coin. So that box that Puncay just broke, 30 potential RNG rolls that have to go well. And that's when you multiply that across the entire stage, it's a miracle that these players get the coins to go where they want them to nearly every time. So, okay. We got the players, same star count. Or actually, sorry, Benji, a couple stars down. But remember, Puncay did go for that toad before the stage, which is, of course, a really quick one. So now he's going in on stop clock, and let's see what Puncay's got on time jumps on moving bars. Benji with a nice get a hand star. That star is one of the most frustrating things about this stage is if you don't do that hard triple jump wall kick, the movement that you have to do instead sets you up a lot worse for the 3 stars that are on time moving, and especially get a hand. It's an awful setup. You have to long jump off a rotating platform and an out of notch angle, and it's just horrendous. But then if you're able to do that time moving triple, you just long jump a couple times and you're good. But you have to balance that against, of course, how hard the earlier part of the strat is when you're trying to decide which one you want to adopt as a main strat. But now Puncay has his 70th star. Benji just has to collect 1 more and talk to Toad, but luckily that last one is pretty quick. Just got to deal with reds. But we've got Puncay moving on up to bits now. Just needs a solid stage and solid throws, and he'll be on 48 pace. I mean, I'm not surprised. That's what's really telling about Puncay. It's like I tweeted out about Cheese. I am not surprised Puncay's on 48 pace right now. It's what happens.
We're talking about the guy who got 348s in the first season of this tournament,
See, he didn't even get 348s there. He got 248s and a 47.
Yeah. So it's indicative again of just how consistent Puncay is. But I want to talk real quick about Benji. This is a really good showing from him. Moving upstairs, he's on a very, very low 49 pace right now. This is really good for this kid moving forward.
Yeah, and really what we're seeing right now with what may be a Puncay victory is more so Puncay dominance than Benji failing. Benji put up a fight.
Oh, yeah.
That cannot be ignored.
Oh, man.
Oh, missing the triple.
No, that's just not, gosh, that's such a bummer way to end the run.
He's going right back in there.
Such a good run.
Still on the table for him. Let's see if he's able to execute for it. Puncay, though, with such consistent throws, it's over. 3-throw fight, and that was as clean as you can really get out of a Bowser fight.
There it is, 48 coming at ya.
Unbelievable.
Dude, again, just this guy's a consistency king. 48-37. I expect nothing less from the guy.
I mean, yeah, huge GGs to Punkate. This is what years of grinding will get you. Benji, meanwhile, having a lot of struggles with standing left side. See if he's able to get it this time around. Taking a fall like that only loses, I believe, like 10 to 15. It's not too bad, but of course you don't want to get more of those than you need. And he's got the left side now, so he just needs to get up these elevators. And oh, okay, he's avoided the fire at least with that ledge grab. I was really afraid the fire would hit him after the ledge grab and make him run right off the ledge.
49 still should be possible here. Just got to be quick, get those 3 Bowser throws out.
It's going to be like a 58, 59 or something. Like it'll be really tight. He's got the nice grab though. And the 2-spin throw. It should be possible so far. Nice jump dive. Oh, nice throw there. Just needs to get this one, and a 49 is it.
Oh, no.
I'm not really sure what happened. At least Bowser's still on the platform. 49 might be dead, but low 50. Not even a missed throw 50. So that's good.
Yeah, taking into account that first death, then that one mistake heading on over to do your triple jump. Left side moving, you know, or left side standing, you know, that easily could have been a 49, but it's still a 50.06. That's a good showing from Benji.
That's really not a bad run.
Not at all. Not at all. I mean, like we said, Benji's young. As long as he's learning from this and moving forward, looking at this and cleaning up these mistakes, I mean, again, he's going to be one of the best runners we've got.
Yeah, and I mean, I really feel like Fire Sea just ultimately ruined his mentality, but watching how he was able to still recover from that and have a really nice, solid upstairs was... Yeah, this... Even though he lost, it's scary to think about what this could mean for the future.
Oh, certainly.
But with that, we do have more races tonight, folks, so stick around. Next up for you, we've got JJ versus Proto Man, and that will be our final race of the evening. Check that one out, though. 2 pretty comparable runners, a little bit of a different play style between them, but it should be a nice close showing. But for now, I'm Electric, joined in the booth by Scotch and Tie Guy. It's been a pleasure, as always, man.
Oh, of course, stick around. We'll be right back with you with some more Super Mario 64 70-star League action.
They are synced now. Do whatever. In the lead again.
Wow. Side for sure from Cheese. Okay, doing it moving. Oh no, the Cheese falls!